Hi, I'm Mark Tilley, and welcome back to Dirt Bike Magazine's video series Year 22, 250 edition. Today we're going to take you up close and personal with the 2022 Gasgas Mc250. Now this is the second year of the Gasgas motocross bike in its current configuration. It does come off the same assembly line as the Husky and the KTM, so naturally it's going to share a lot of the same traits. This bike has Maxxis tires. There is some other components on it that are different. It does come with the Brembo brakes, the WP components. The styling, like we said, is going to be a little bit different, but the motor is identical to the KTM and the Husky. So there is some differences, but a lot of the stuff is the same. That does not mean it is the same motorcycle. So if you want all the in-depth specs on the 2022 Gasgas Mc250, head over to dirtbikemagazine.com. We're gonna go ride this thing. So we just got done with our first day of testing on the 2022 Gasgas Mc250. No major surprises. The bike almost comes to us unchanged. There might be some suspension settings that are different from last year, but looks-wise, graphics-wise, everything that comes around, it is the same as last year. Now this bike is designed for the, I guess you would say, less aggressive rider, or maybe the non-racing rider that might go out and just ride the trails, or go out and do some weekend riding or something like that, but not get crazy in-depth with making sure they have the right suspension settings and all kinds of stuff. It has the same engine package that what a KTM or a Husky would. You don't have some of the features that we're normally used to having, like the adjustable map switch, and on this bike it comes with a non-branded bar. The triple clamps are different, where the KTM and the Husky come with different triple clamps. This one comes with a cast triple clamp. This one comes with Maxxis tires. The Maxxis tires work really well in soft terrain. Later on when the track gets a little bit harder, they're gonna skate around a little bit, but still a good tire. Overall, this bike is a great motorcycle for the average guy. I mean, even for the racer guy, this thing revs just like what a KTM revs. It makes really good power. You don't have the adjustable map switch on the fly that you have with the Husky and the KTM, but in general, kind of the same motorcycle. And around $900 less than what the Husky is. So that's a significant amount of savings. And if you are gonna race this motorcycle, you can throw a pipe on it, or you can upgrade the wheels, or throw on different triple clamps, and you're right back there with what a premier motorcycle would be. So we like where the Austrian connection is taking this, to where making it a little bit more affordable for the average guy, and maybe somebody that's not gonna race, and then even for the racer. It has all the components that you would need to race. You just maybe customize it a little bit and kind of go from there. So we have had a chance to test the 2022 KTM and the 2022 Husky. The difference in the motorcycles, this to me personally feels more like what a KTM is. It's just more of a kind of a plusher KTM. It doesn't seem to have the rigidity in the front that its KTM counterpart does, but it also doesn't seem to have the overall power and grunt that what the KTM does. A couple of changes that we did make suspension wise today. We had multiple size of riders riding. The faster riders like the bike to be squatted a little bit more in the back, right around 104 to 106 millimeters of sag, race sag in the back, and then slow the rebound down just a little bit to get that bike to really track and go straight. The other thing that the faster riders liked is bumping up the air pressure a little bit so it stayed a little bit higher in the stroke. That's one thing you can do with these WP, the air fork. You can bump it up, and on the Gasgas, it felt like we could bump up the the air pressure, run a little bit stiffer air pressure because the front end seems to be a little bit more forgiving. We're thinking that it's because of those cast clamps. We even want to go one step farther and maybe throw on the Pro taper bar that comes stock on the Husky to get a little bit more plushness out of it. It's not as a rigid setup as what like the KTM is with the neck end bars. We plan on doing a lot more testing with this. We want to mess around with some gearing to see if we can get a little bit more power out of it. The exhaust is also a little bit slightly different than what the KTM and the Husky. We might even switch some of those exhausts around and see what the difference of the stock exhaust, because we know there's a little bit more power in that motor, and then naturally go to some aftermarket stuff as well. We're getting really close to a 250 shootout. One or two more bikes to do individual tests on, and then it's full shootout time. So we can't wait to see how the 250 class is going to shape up, because it is pretty much anybody's ball game right now. It's going to be an interesting shootout for this year because the bikes are so closely grouped. If you got a little bit more time on your hands and you want to check out some of the other 2022 MX model 250s that we've tested, hit the video thumbnail now, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of our latest releases.